So these are the data types over here. In another words, we can also tell like it is used to represent the what type of information which is stored in the column or what type of data we want to maintain in a column over here. So those are called as the data types here. So under this data types, we are having two types here. So one is the composite, another one is the simple data type over here. So in SQL, we'll be learning about simple data type, that is which is provided by the Oracle automatically. Second type, that is the composite data type, which is defined by the user in Plsql. That means in Plsql, we'll be using this composite data types over here. So under the composite data types, we'll be learning about the type over here, row type, and the record over here through collections. So these topics will be covered under Plsql. Okay, so in SQL, we'll be learning about only the simple data types over here. So those data types which are provided by the Oracle automatically. So under the simple data types, we are having four types of data types over here. So first it is the numeric data type. Second, it is the character data type or the string data type over here. Long data type over here. Fourth one, it is the date data types over here, right? So coming into the numeric data type. So what do you mean by this numeric data type over here? So whenever you're creating a table, you want this data type like a numeric data type. That means it is used to hold the integers over here. So numeric data type. It is also used to represent the numeric information over here. So suppose you're creating with a number data type on particular column and you are entering with the alphabets over here. So will it accept? It will not accept, right? Why? Because you're creating a column with a number data type. So it will allow only the numbers to enter into the data. So you can able to see this particular table over here in EMP table. So employee number. So it is related to the number over here. So where we have mentioned the number data type over here. Okay. So under numeric, it is used to hold the integers over here. It is also used to represent the numeric information over here. So whenever you're creating the number data type, we are having some size over here. Okay, by default, the size is 38. You can able to enter up to 38 numbers over here. Apart from that, you cannot able to use. So whenever you're using the number data type, we are having a default size like it is 38 over here. If we don't specify the, so we are having like it is a precision and the scale over here. So you can able to see. So number, it's a number data type means which is related to the numbers only. Okay. So where you're mentioning this precision and the scale over here. So what do you mean by this precision here? So precision means it's a total number of decimal places over here. So you can able to see this example, right? So whenever you're entering some data into the particular table over there, okay, you created this data type. With the data type, you create a number data type like number precision over here. So P you are created. So P here means, so here you can able to see. If you're going to give the number data type and you're going to give 4 over here. So here you're going to mention 4 here. That means it will include the decimal places over here. So total it is calculating like precision like 4 here. So that means 25 point, it is a decimal over here. So after decimal again we are having, so totally we are having 4 digits. So it will take only that 4 digits over here. So whenever you're mentioning like a number precision, P over here, that means for the P size, you're going to mention the size over here, like it is a 4 or 5. That means it is going to calculate all the digits, including the decimal places here, right? So whenever you're creating the data type, the number data type with P comma S over here. So S stands for the scale here. That means after the decimal places, whatever the digits over here. So when you are mentioning. So now you can tell me any example where we can use this precision and the scale here. Small example. Precision means it is going to add the entire digits over here. So you can able to see, including the decimal places, it will add entire digits over here. Okay. So when we are using this precision like precision comma scale here. So any examples?
Percentages.
Numbers. You can just tell the numbers over here. So how it will consider. So you can able to see this example over here, right? Down. So in this, what happens entirely, it is 7 digits over here. Okay, you are entering. So you are entering, you are just creating a table. So why we are using this data type? You are just creating a table like a data type, like a number data type only. Okay, so under that number data type, whenever you're creating the data type like a position and scale, that means you are giving 5,2 over here or 7,2. That means, so here you'll be entering like it is a number data type. You're creating one table like a number data type, like this you are creating. So that means what happens? 7, it represents all the digits over here. Okay. So 7 is all the digits, whereas scale. So where you mention the scale as 2, but here you are mentioning the scale after the decimal places, you are having 3 digits. That means what happens? Whenever you are entering this particular record into your table, it will not allow. It will throw an error like this position and scale does not belongs to this as per the data type over here. It will throw an error. So accordingly, what will be the out? I want to enter some records. Okay. So you created one table here. If you want, we'll create a table with a number data type here. Okay. We'll create one table. Okay. So create table. So you're creating the table like emp underscore 7 over here. Okay. So where we are creating our own table. So we don't want to copy this dash select star from. Why we are copying this? Already we are having in our existing table. Already we are having some records into the table. We want to copy all the records. So we are creating this as select star from. Now we are creating our own data type over here, right? So whenever you're creating your own data type, you should use this create table name. So where you are mentioning, for example, it is an employee number. It's a column name. Okay. So where it is the number data type you are mentioned over here. Okay. In this number data type, while creating, you are creating first you are creating like it is a EMP number. Just you didn't mention any of the, you can just observe here. Okay. So next you're mentioning like a over here. So where you are using a number data type, again you are mentioned 7 here. Next again B, where you are mentioning the number data type like 7,2 here. So whenever you're creating a table, so commas after each and every row, at the end you should mark comma over here. But before using the semicolon, here we should not put the comma over here. So this is the format. So okay. So where you're creating the table. So create table name. So what happens here? It is throwing an error like already the table is already an existing object. That means already we are having this particular table name. So we need to change the table name. Okay, I'm adding 0 here. Okay, so control enter. So what happens here? My table has been created. Now my table has been created, right? So if I want to check the data type, if someone has been created this table, okay. So now we are creating the table, we know the data type. If somebody has been created the table, I don't know what is the data type of the particular table. In that case only we are using this description over here. So disk underscore EMP70 over here. So control enter. So you can able to see. So for the number, you didn't mention any size over here. So automatically it is considering number as number only. A, it is a number 7 over here, and B, it is a number data type 7,2 here, right? So where we are using this data types over here, number data type. Okay. So you're creating another table. You're creating one more table where you are mentioning like EMP underscore 700 over here. So can I mention with the 39 here? Can I give 39 here? No.
No.
Cannot give. Because while creating with a number data type, by default, it will consider like 1 to 38 only. 39 we cannot create. So you can able to see what is the error over here. So the error is that number position specified is out of the range. So whenever you're creating the number data type, it should contain with 1 to 38 only. It should not go beyond 38. So obviously it is throwing an error. So in this case, can I give 0 also? Can I mention 0 here? No. 0 also it will not allow. Again, it will throw an error. So according to this, what is the range? It is from 1 to 38 only. Whenever you're not mentioning the size, by default, it will take as 1 only. Or it will consider the size. But if you're going to mention like 0, it will not accept you to create this particular table here, right? So where we are creating a table with a number data type. So where you're mentioning the column names over here. So according to the requirement, we are creating the table. So this is for the EMP table. So we are creating like employee number, the number data type over here. Okay. So now coming into the enter, I want to enter the records in the particular table over here. Okay. So where you are going to use our, in our upcoming, we will be using this. Okay. Insert into the table name. What is the table name? EMP underscore 700 over here. So where you are going to mention the values over here. So first you mentioned like a employee number over here. We didn't mention any size, right? So previously, if you want to check this, you can check this. Previously, we created this table. Okay, in the data type, you can able to see. So where first for the first column employee number, we didn't mention any size. Okay, second column where we have mentioned the position as 7 over here. Again, B, third column, it is a number 7, 2 over here. Okay. So now I am going to add the record, add some values into the table over here. Okay, so where I'm adding the values like 1 I'm adding. So next I'm adding like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 I'm adding. So next I'm adding like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 point. So what happens here? It is throwing an error. So what is the error it is throwing here? So if you want, you can check the table. So select star from EMP underscore 70. You can able to see only the columns over here, whatever we created. So once you receive the message like table created, your table will be created without any columns here. So you can able to see. You cannot able to see this data types over here. If you want to see the data type, we are using this description over here, right? So now I want to add some records into the table over here. Okay. So where this is the syntax in upcoming when we are using our DML operation. So this is the syntax we are going to follow. So insert into the table name values over here. So where I mentioned for the first one, it is the employee number where I'm giving 1 over here. Again, for the second, you can able to see. So what is the error message it is showing here? It is showing the error message like value larger than specified position allowed for this column. So what is the error over here? Whether this second column it is error or the third column it is error here. So where you mentioned both. Precision. Yes. So where you mentioned the position over here. So like where you mentioned like up to 9 you are mentioned. So here you're given only 7. That means it will consider only 7 digits over here. Okay. So now again coming, you want you can just you could then also to show the error only. So second one. So second one is the position over here like 7, 2. That means it should contain not only exactly 7. So totally what happens? Totally it should contain 7 digits over here. Okay. After the decimal place it entirely it should contain 7 over here. And the scale you have mentioned 0.2. Okay. So how many digits I should cancel here in this? In this I am having 9 digits over here, right?
After decimal 1 should be deleted.
After decimal 1 you are deleting. Okay.
Before decimal 1.
Before decimal also 1. So what happens obviously here? So control enter. So what happens here? You can able to see according to your data type only, it will allow the values into the table. Okay. So in that case, your position where you are given 7 over here. So where we are mentioning like, so we are mentioning less than 7 only. Totally it is 7 over here. Okay. Totally it is 7 over here. So here you are mentioning before decimal it is 5 digits over here and after decimal it is 2. So obviously what happens according to our creation of the data type, it is accepting. So whereas if I'm going to mention like, so where I'm mentioning 4 here and where I'm mentioning, so what happens in this case here? Before decimal it is 4 digits and after decimal it is 3 digits over here. So it will accept now?
No.
It will not accept. So what happens?
The scale is only 2 numbers.
But we have mentioned position over here like 7. In that case, what happens? It is position work is to take it entirely. Entirely it is 7 over here. So in case here you are mentioning like 5 over here. So now what happens here? So now totally we are having 8 digits here. So in this case, how it is considering now? According to the position, it is 7, comma, next it is 2. So how now it is considering here?
Won't accept as the total number is 8. Precision is 8. It is not.
Precision, up to this it is considering. For example, here you are having like it is, I'll add one more here. So here we are having 6 digits over here. Okay, so here I'm having only 7. So totally it is 8 over here. So control enter. So now we can able to see, right, decimal places, how it is interacting with the decimal places here. So here you are having 6 digits, and after decimal places, it is having 7, 4 over here. So altogether, it should come the precision as 7. So when you are having the less than 5, it is allowing you to enter into the table over here. So if you check the table, you can able to find those records here, whatever you have added. Okay, so where we have done our DML operation over here. So where we use this data type. So according to this data type only, it will allow here. For example, in the same case, where you have mentioned like it is, okay, again I will enter this. So where I'm mentioning for employee number, it's a number data type. Okay, I don't know how the data type has been created. I've just given the name like A over here and I'm creating. So what happens here? It shows as the invalid number. That means where you are created with the employee number as the number data type. And if you are going to mention in a particular string over here, it is not accepting. So that only we will go to this description and we will check here. So once you're going to the description, so I want to check the table. So where we are using, I want to find out how the table has been created. So where we are using this description, the table name over here. So after selecting, you can able to get, okay, this particular column is created with this data type number. So any doubts in this? Anybody having any doubts in this number data type? So if you're going to enter 39 also, it will throw an error. Okay. So this is related to the number data type over here. So for example, we are having one table, okay. So we are having our base table here. So where we select star from PO underscore headers underscore all. This is the PO table over here, okay. So in this, I want to find the data type over here. So I'm writing the select star from this particular table name. So what happens? Obviously, it will show me all the columns, whatever I'm having in my particular table over here. I want to find the data type here. So in this case, what happens here? If you want to find one for a particular table, the data type, you're going to you're going to select wherever in between or at the end also, you can just select this. And if you're going to give shift plus F4 over here, you can able to find the entire columns along with the data types over here. So this is the shortcut key, shift plus F4 over here. You can able to find the entire columns. What are the data types according to the columns over here, right? So I don't want to use description over there. We can use this. So enter the table name, shift F4. We can able to get all the data type over here according to the columns here, right? So this is related to the number data type over here. So next we are having like it is the character over here. So next data type, it is related to the character over here. The character data type here. These are small examples you can go through with this. So I'll be sharing you this notes. Okay, you can go through with this. So next data type, it is the character data type over here. So in the character data type, it is used to hold the set of character strings over here. So those are called as the character data types here, right? So here we are having maximum size. So maximum size of the character data type or the chart data type, it is up to 2000 bytes. By default, it is the size 1 over here. So whenever you're using the character data type, it is used to hold the set of characters only over here. Okay. Maximum size, it is 2000 bytes over here. By default, the size is 1 here. It is used to hold the fixed length characters like the state code or the Aadhaar number or the PAN card number over here or the gender over here. So in that cases, we use this character data type over here. So it is a fixed length character data type. It is a single byte character data type over here, right? So same way, you are going to create one table over here. Okay, so using this character data type here. So where creating table xx underscore char over here. So where for A it is the character, again B it is the character over here, where you mentioned 10 over here. So again C character, so here 2000. Up to 2000 characters you can able to store in this particular data type here, right? So where all we use this data type? So we can we can use for the country code or the PAN card. So like that purpose, we can create this data type there. Okay, so you're creating the table. Next, your description to check the data type over here. Again, we are using the select star from the character, the particular table, whatever table you are creating, the table over here. So you can able to find only the columns. Okay. So next, I want to add some rows into the table. So where we are using this DML operation over here, like insert into the table name over here. So where it is the XX underscore C. This is the table name, right? So value. So where I mentioned like A, again AB, again I mentioned AB over here. So what happens to the first character, whether it will allow or not? So as I told, it is used for the, what type of string it is? Character string only, right? It is used for the character string only. Control enter. It is already existing. The table has been created. So we'll check the description over here. So it is not required every time to check. For the starting, it's the class starting class over here, right? So in that case, we use this description over here. Okay, so here you can able to see only the columns over here. So now we are adding some rows into the table. Like we are entering like insert into the table name values. A, it is whatever you are mentioning the characters, you are going to mention in the string only, a single quotes over here. So A, again AB, again AB. So what happens this, it will allow us into the table. It will insert this particular row into the table or not. So where you are created with the char, like first you didn't mention any of the size over there. Second, you mention the size as 10. Next, you mention the size as 2000 over here. So what happens in this case? So we can able to see the data type. Even if you're not going to mention the size over here, by default, it will consider as 1 year. Okay. So in that case, what happens here? A, it is accepting. AB, it is accepting. AB also, it is accepting. Why? Because the character second one, it is 10. Okay. So in that case, it is below 10. So it is accepting. So here it is 2000. I cannot enter this 2000 characters over here. Okay. But if you use 2000 means up to 2000 characters, you can able to insert in this particular column, the particular column over here for the C column here, right? So we can able to see one record has been inserted, one row. So one row has been added here. Okay. So coming into the second one. So in the second, again, second entry. So what happens in the second entry here? So where you are given the values like 1, again 1, 2, again you are given the 1, 2 along with the special characters. So it will allow us into the particular table, or it will throw an error here. It will allow or not? Where it is used to enter only the characters over here. So where you are mentioning the numbers over here, in that case, it will allow or not? So you can just observe
Not
here.
allowed.
But what happens
Will
in
allow.
this case here? It is used to hold a set of characters over here. So where it is accepting the number over here. So how it is accepting the number here? Characters you have mentioned. So you have mentioned. So what happens in this case here? Just a second. Someone has created with the number. So how it is considering here? So where you mentioned in the string over here. Okay. So if you are not going to enter it in the string, so that also you can observe here. So control enter. So what happens here? It is not throwing any error over here, but it is accepting. So it is accepting the characters over here. So any doubts in this? Anybody having any doubts here? So same thing, if you are going to give for the second, third row, I'm going to add the third row over here. Okay, so where I mentioned like A, B over here. Okay, so in that case, it will allow, I want to enter the third record into the table over here. So obviously in my table, I'm having only 2 times it has been entered. Okay, already I'm having 3 records over here. I want this another record, like a 4th record to enter into the table. So where I mentioned the string like AB in a string over here, it will allow or not?
Yes, it will allow.
It will allow. So what happens here?
No, one as
Hmm,
it is by default it is we didn't mention any
we
size.
we didn't mention the size over here. By default, it is considering as 1 over here. So you can
One
able to see actual it is 2, maximum it is 1 over here. So when you're not mentioning the size also for the particular, it will consider as only 1. That too, by default, it is considering only 1 character over there. Apart from that 1 character, it is not considering. It is throwing an error here. Right? So this is the error over here. So like it is the actual, it is 2 and maximum it is 1 here. So any doubts in this data type over here? Character data type. So this is related to the character data type or char we can also mention here. Right? So tomorrow